and welcome back to the review realm. It's Sienna, and today we are going to be taking a look at the 2001 A Space Odyssey film, which was released in 1968, and it's directed by Stanley Kubrick, and we are reviewing it because it is considered one of the best 100 films of all time according to this poster, and every Tuesday I'm reviewing another movie on this poster, so stay to the end of the video to see what my next week review will be. Who knows? I do a random number generator, so it just picks a random film on that list. So before we get to the review, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. 2001 A Space Odyssey has 4 acts, and the first one is The Dawn of a Man, and it depicts prehistoric times when humans were still monkeys. They are looking for water, looking for food, and we see this depicted. There are a group of monkeys, or humans, whatever you're gonna call them. For this review, I will be calling them monkeys, and we see them all together, and they are drinking water, they're eating together, living together, and there is a rival group of monkeys that also want this same water. While these monkeys are just surviving in the night, and then suddenly a black monolith appears, and the monkeys discover that they could use bones from dead animals to then help defeat the rival monkey group that is trying to take all their water. So they have advanced in evolution. They have undergone using a tool which allows them to advance into the next step, being able to survive and gain these new skills. Then we are transported to 2001. Now this film did come out in 1968, so it's what you would maybe imagine 2001 could possibly be in a sci-fi setting. In this period, humans have advanced. Space travel is a thing, and that you can just go to the moon on basically an airplane. That is what it is. Travel to the moon, it's no big deal. You see different countries, they have little spots, little bases on the moon, and they are doing scientific research. When suddenly these scientists discover another black monolith, and then they discover that there is one floating around Saturn, and they decide that they need to send a group of scientists to go to Saturn to discover what this black monolith actually is. So they send these doctors up, and they are accompanied by HAL 9000, which is artificial intelligence computer, who basically runs the whole spacecraft. However, he does seem to be acting kind of strange throughout their mission to Saturn, and there is some conflict with the AI machine and humans. Now, 2001 A Space Odyssey is truly art, and I was blown away. I've never seen this film before. This was my first time watching 2001, and I was completely blown away. It's hard to believe that this came out in 1968. It still holds up amazing. You wouldn't even know that it was made in the 60s. The special effects in this film look absolutely beautiful. Now, this film used very limited dialogue, so whenever a character speaks, you can really feel the importance of what they're saying, and it feels like you're trying to soak up every little word that they're saying because there's not really that much dialogue in this film. It's in the business of showing, not telling, which is really refreshing and nice nowadays when we have films literally just telling you everything that is happening from the start to the end of the film, where this film allows you to just sit back and relax and absorb what is happening on the screen. Now, with the limited dialogue and with the different elements that it is showing, the colors that they use, and different story elements that Kubrick uses, it really does allow this film to be interpreted in many different ways by many different people. If you sat down with another person and watched this film, you guys might realize something different that the other person didn't pick up, or even if you are rewatching this film, you're gonna notice something that you didn't know the first time watching this film, because it is truly art. And the soundtrack is absolutely amazing, where they decide to put the music when everything goes silent and you just hear someone's breath. Everything about this film was meticulously placed in this, and it allows for this beautiful story to be told. So 2001 A Space Odyssey is based off the short story, The Sentinel. Now, I have not read this short story, so I could not tell you how accurate it is or if they added details, so I won't go into that, but I will say that with the things that they were discussing, it was really ahead of its time. True sci-fi. there is one part where we see a character and he is doing a video call, like something like a Zoom or Skype that we would call today. And this, again, was filmed in the 60s. That didn't even exist. We also see when he is going up to space from Earth in a spaceship, but it's basically a plane. We see that he has a TV on the back of his seat, on the seat in front of him, and that didn't arrive on an airplane until 1988. So it really was ahead of its time, and now watching it in 2025, you can see little elements of our world today within this film, even though it's supposed to be in a time where humans have progressed, space travel is more common, more accessible. Now, with HAL 9000, our AI friend who is controlling this ship, honestly, it was really chilling. He just is a very creepy character, because that is what he is. Yes, he's artificial intelligence, but the way he communicates with the other characters in this film and his malfunctions and how they show him looking and doing different things, I was getting anxiety, not even gonna lie. I was like, oh my gosh. And having never experienced this film and knowing really nothing about it going into it, it was super compelling, I will say that, especially with AI being more available to the public. Like, we have ChatGPT that you can use a free version, so anyone can basically use AI in today's world. Seeing that this is a very advanced AI that hasn't necessarily arrived on our world today, but maybe could someday, you're looking back and being like, wow, in the 60s, they just were like thinking about this, and today's world, it seems so far off, but also so close. So honestly, watching it with our modern technology, I think it's even more important now than it was probably in the 60s. 2001, A Space Odyssey won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, and honestly, it deserves it. Everything that it displays with space, especially in the final act, it's really compelling and it looks real. It holds up. You can definitely tell that they wanted this film to last. They put their heart and soul and wanted everything to look perfect. Now, 2001, A Space Odyssey, the ending could definitely be interpreted in many different ways, and honestly, I think that's the point. This whole film is filled with symbolism, but it can be interpreted by different people in all sorts of ways, so I will give you my brief interpretation, and I believe 2001, A Space Odyssey shows how technology is used to advance the human race overall. Now, with the ending, yes, it does show evolution, but I think it also shows almost reincarnation, that we turn into something completely different when we evolve so much. With them showing the prehistoric, that humans were monkeys, and then showing humans up in space, and then eventually a baby and an embryo above the world looking out. This really does illustrate, in my opinion, that when we evolve, we basically become something completely else. Reincarnation, if you want to say it, so to speak. And that technology has helped humans and is going to maybe help humans evolve further into something completely different than we were thousands of years ago. Because technology is integrated throughout this film and humans interacting it. We see it in prehistoric times with the bone, that they can then use that to fight. And then we see it with HAL 9000, that the AI is advancing in spaceships them to allow to reach all the way to Saturn, a far off place, farther than any human has ever gone. And then eventually into this baby embryo thing overlooking space. You just have to watch the film. If you haven't watched the film, then what I'm saying may not make complete sense. But honestly, it can be interpreted in any ways, and I think that's what the beauty of this film. No one's necessarily wrong and no one's necessarily right about what this could potentially mean. It's all up for interpretation, and really that is art. Everyone can view something and get something out of it that the other person who's also viewing it may not see or understand, because we all have different life experiences, and I think that's something that's super beautiful. Now, A Space Odyssey may seem slow at points with the limited dialogue, these shots that seem to go on forever, but that's what makes it so stunning and so beautiful, that you are viewing art. I really would encourage you, if you're gonna go into this film, to just breathe and look at it and try and understand maybe the symbolism. What are they trying to say? And ask yourself questions throughout this viewing experience, because you're just going to get more out of this film. I would say don't go into this film expecting these amazing monologues and conversations back and forth. Really, you need to use your eyeballs for this film. It's not a film that you can just have on in the background, because you do need to pay attention, because they're in the business of showing and not telling. And I absolutely loved this film. I'll probably rewatch it because I feel like I'm gonna gain something new if I do watch this film again, something I missed the first time. But honestly, it was a beautiful film, and I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're into sci-fi or just films in general, because it really was art. As I keep saying, it is really a beautiful film. Now let me know if you have seen 2001: A Space Odyssey and your interpretations and your thoughts down in the comment section down below, and have a great day. Bye!